Hi, Chris aka Zomproof here, and I previously released an early access review of Project Zomboid from the Indie Stone. Long story short, it has quickly become one of my favorite zombie games, mostly due to the amount of detail in the game world. While there are plenty of videos with tips about how better to survive in the game itself, I thought it'd be worth taking a look at the game mechanics that you could apply to your actual survival in the case of a zombie apocalypse. So, with that in mind, let's get into the list. We've all been there. You don't have keys to the door, the windows are locked, so you have to smash your way in. Not only should you use a blunt weapon as opposed to your own elbow, but before you jump through, you still need to clear the shards of glass out of the window frame. Not doing so can result in significant lacerations, wasting valuable medical supplies. In fact, you should look out for any glass on the floor. It's not slowing the zombies down, so it can only hurt you. Making sure to focus on eating foods that can spoil is an important part of resource management. Not only are they part of a balanced diet, but the last thing you want is to waste food in the apocalypse. Once food is rotten, it's only useful as compost, which would help grow new plants, but who has the time? As things are reaching the end of their shelf life, think about pickling or making stew to take advantage of them before they're too far gone. You'll realize quickly in Project Zomboid that you're safer crouch walking instead of just running around. Taking the slow and steady approach will keep you alive longer than climbing over a high fence and finding yourself surrounded by the undead. Check your corners, peer through windows before trying the door, and if the area is blanketed in fog, maybe it's time to focus on chores around the house. Remember, the only people you're in a competition with are dead, so think about what resources you actually need to haul back to your main base and what would be helpful to have access to further away. You may want to deconstruct all the furniture in the nearby houses for planks and nails, but the further away you go, you should consider leaving things up just in case you need to hole up for the night. In the apocalypse, it's easy to only think about survival and put blinders on to everything else. From time to time, you need to think about your mental health and keeping yourself entertained. In Project Zomboid, that means reading a magazine or comic book, watching TV while the power is still on. Exploring in general will keep you engaged in your own survival. And honestly, real life isn't all that different. If you don't spend time focusing on keeping your spirits up, you'll struggle to survive the darker moments. While keeping zombies as far away as possible is always the desirable way to go, when fighting is the only option, melee weapons should be the only place you look. A melee weapon in this case is defined as any simple object that can do damage to a zombie, and preferably keeps you more than an arm's length away. Baseball bats, crowbars, and shovels are popular choices, but really anything solid would do. Guns are probably best avoided at all costs. Getting the required headshot is extremely difficult even for someone trained with firearms, and the noise will only draw attention to your location. Really, fights in general are best avoided. Unless you're clearing a safe space for yourself, it's just too risky when you're going against the undead. Eventually, your fresh food will run out, as will your canned goods. At the same time, you can't rely on running water either. In the early days, you should be on the lookout for seeds, trowels, really any gardening supplies you could find out there. It takes a considerable amount of time to grow any food, usually around 15 to 30-ish in-game days, depending upon what it is. Though in reality, it would actually take closer to a couple of months. It would be best to get started early and in a place that is safe from being trampled by zombies, yet still gets more than enough sunlight. And as gardens require plenty of water on their own, you'll need to start collecting rainwater whenever possible. In real life, boxes or barrels lined with tarps or garbage bags, preferably clean and unscented ones, would be best. In Project Zomboid, two things to keep in mind. You're not able to fill your bathtub up with water, and your carpentry skill needs to be fairly high to be able to actually build the rain collectors. One method to build your carpentry skill up is building defenses for your home base. I would start with a home that already has high fences around some of its sides. While zombies can see over and easily flip over chain link or waist high picket fences, a high fence at least breaks line of sight and gives you some crucial time to get away. But it is the key to remember they are not indestructible. Every defensive structure you can think of will need some type of maintenance to keep it from falling apart over time. Planks across windows and certain doors are a good place to start, but you'll want to think about the longevity as the apocalypse goes on. A good tip for Project Zomboid: zombies can't climb over cars currently, nor can they be damaged outside of crashing them. This makes them a strong barrier to force choke points on the living dead. It's easy to think about leaving buildings locked down as you scavenge for supplies, but you should always think about your best way to escape from a zombie horde. Leaving the occasional window open will give you a quick route that puts distance between you and the undead, and more importantly, can help break line of sight. The last thing you want to do is bring the horde to your doorstep, though it never hurts to have a backup house, just in case. And that's the list. Are there any tips you have for those trying to survive the zombie apocalypse? Drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button on your way out, and check out my Twitch channel for some of the listed live streams I'll be doing. Once again, I've been Chris, aka Zomproof. Thanks for stopping by.